let's talk about one of my biggest pet peeves at the moment. If you already know, the new killer in Dead by Daylight is Nemesis from Resident Evil. His power is, well, it's kind of overpowered, and that's what I'm here to talk about. So pretty much his power is that he can whip out a tentacle, bitch slap you with it, and suddenly he sees where you are at all times. Maybe that's not true, but that's what I've gathered at the moment from every match I've gone up against him. Plus he's got zombies, and one of the scariest things is to enter a match and then suddenly see an antidote box. So pretty much, I'm trying to compare Nemesis to an old killer. For example, the Death Slinger. His ability is that he whips out a gun and then he shoots you with a harpoon and then pulls you in, right? Pretty simple. This guy, he's got zombies, he's got mutations with his whip, and if he whips you, you get a virus, you have to get an antidote. Complicated killers are not good. For example, having a mechanic do multiple things, like Mario's jump, which allows him to move upwards but at the same time kill enemies, those are simple. Except that's only 2 things. Nemesis is pretty much like 16 things. So, pretty much, this is just going to be a long rant of me going why the old killers are better than Nemesis. First of all, simplicity. The first thing that makes some of the older killers better is their simplicity. The Wraith bongs his bell and he turns invisible. The Trapper sets bear traps. The Hillbilly has a chainsaw. The Nurse can go through walls at a quick speed. They're all very simple. But then you get stuff like the Demogorgon, which is like, so he can place down portals, he moves through the portals, he can see people on the portals with his ability, he could shred things, he could get a victory royale every single time. They went mad with it. And I like it when some of the new killers are simplistic. Like, even Pyramid Head is fairly simplistic, despite he's like a middle ground Pyramid Head. His ability is that he could put a trail into the ground, and if you walk through it, you go into torment. And if you're in torment and he downs you, he could put you into a cage. And if you're on Final Hook and you're in torment, he could just quickly kill you. And also while in torment, while putting down a trench, he could send a giant blockade towards you. It sounds complicated, but it's actually quite simple in the long run. So, Nemesis is way too complicated. The reason Hillbilly and Nurse and Spirit are all considered some of the better killers is because of their simplicity. Spirit turns invisible and can see survivors. Keep your ear out. Hillbilly can run very fast. Use it to traverse the map. The Nurse can go through walls. Try and outsmart your opponents. It's all simple mechanics. But this guy, you have to hit them, you have to pretty much hit every survivor and then try and down them before they finish all these generators. And if you know how to work him, it's pretty much impossible to escape. I've gone up against Nemesis in about 50 matches, and I've only escaped once. And that was just because the guy was fixated on the obsession. Next up, stature. Nemesis is way too big. I mean, for crying out loud, he's so big that he has to, instead of taking the survivors and putting them over his shoulder like every other killer, he puts them under his shoulder because he's so big, because they couldn't do anything different with the animation. I mean, Nemesis is nowhere near 9 feet tall in the games, and the Demogorgon is outright said to be 9 feet tall in Stranger Things, and yet the Demogorgon in Dead by Daylight is smaller than Nemesis because they just wanted to make Nemesis scarier, I guess. Nemesis is overpowering and terrifying. His presence is not meant to be, oh no, I gotta hide. His presence has gotta be, shit, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. You find a key in a normal game and you're pissed that now you have to find the hatch. You find a key in this game and now you're glad that at least now you have a chance to find the hatch. Nemesis sucks. In conclusion, I'm saying that Nemesis is simply, it's what they did with Ash Williams. You know, Evil Dead guy. They made Ash one of the better survivors by giving him Medal of Man, which pretty much made it so that you could take an extra hit before going into the dying state. But then after everyone chucked their money into Behavior's faces, they nerfed him. They're doing the same thing here. They're making it the most overpowered thing ever, making everyone give them their money. And then they're just going to make him, like, They're gonna make him the next Ghostface. Main difference being Ghostface isn't actually in a scary product. Boo boo dee boo boo dee boo 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 dee boo boo dee boo 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 dee boo 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 doo boo boo doo boo dee boo boo dee boo doo boo doo boo doo doo boo doo 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 ooh doo 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 doo